Hi, Taurus. Oh no, we get the black and white video. What did we do? You guys haven't figured it out yet, huh? A lot of activity in your house of the subconscious. Welcome to your subconscious technical support. Why didn't you do our reading sooner? It's being done by season, not by month. We started with Pisces season. We're still in Pisces season. It's okay. We'll all get used to it. No problem. Don't worry. But what does it mean to have so much activity in the house of the subconscious? Well, for one, it means looking at the past. It means finding your power despite the regret. 5 cups turned to 4. Fantastic. Through what? Through power. Good start. Bottom of the deck. 4 of Wands. Ace of Swords. We'll keep them. Let's keep going. There's a slow thoughtfulness that can become a bullying, rushing sort of strength once the time is right. I've been thinking about this reading for a while, and now it's so, boom. 10 of Pentacles. These 2 cards together are fantastic. These 3 cards together are even better. So finding your power through examination of the past, which is what Mercury in the 12th will be like. And then, through that examination of the past, being able to glean what is necessary from the 5 and 4 of Cups experience, being able to, because on their own, right, they are cards of sorrow, they are cards of regret, they are cards of holding on, not being able to move forward, not being in the moment, where your feelings, the cups, are displaced to another place or another person. And so you don't feel like you are where you are. You feel like you are where your feelings are, or you are where the person who you have feelings for is. You feel like you're there. So not present. To find your power through diving into that process of the subconscious and not actually being present, right, with your conscious mind. Finding your strength through that. Earth sign power card leads to a whole new level of being able to connect and commit to somebody, which then leads to a cutting off of certain, relationships that just aren't working, and a beginning of a new way of thinking, right? It's like bothering me. Sorry, it's like scraggly. I might have been napping before I did this video. So, after the Ace of Swords moment, where you have the new beginning and the definite ending of everything that doesn't jive with the new vibe. You see, because because we know you've been in this energy for a while, right? So since we know that, then we also know that there have been people around because you've been in that energy who now we need to let go of. Yeah, sure. And because your vibe changes and you are able to use the Ace of Swords, then the 10 of Pentacles becomes even more of a reality. Now, if you're an earth sign that's dealing with another earth sign, So this Queen of Pentacles then showing up as someone in your life who is an earth sign. That person is someone who's going from being very much a part of your past to being a part of your present. You have to decide now if that's the person that you want to be with or the person you want to cut off. From what I can tell, the decision's going to be pretty simple. I think you'll be able to tell within the next week or so what you should do just because of the way things are aligning. But let's keep going. So we have 6 cards, 2 of which have to do with sadness and regret from the past. So definitely nods to the retrogrades. And then also there are cards of coupling. So the 4 of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles both being cards of, marriage, stability, partnership, celebration. Okay. 3 cards. 5 of Swords, 8 of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. 5 of Swords, 7 of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. So, this thing from the past that you have to resolve has a lot to do with people who were dishonest. It has to do with aspects of you being dishonest. It has to do with overcoming that in yourself and also in your surroundings. It does. It does. It has a lot to do with it. And it is the door into what seems like is like ramping up to be a pretty prevalent energy for you right now. Because the way things are moving into your house of the subconscious, there are going to be fundamental changes. So you've got 2 aces now, and both of them denoting, this specific sort of new beginning that has to do with you developing a new way of thinking and therefore attracting a new sort of person or a new sort of relationship. So not 6 cards, but 9. So we're still looking for an outcome card. But so far the theme being that it is internally, what needs to be challenged and overcome is internal now. It's not about being reactive to externalities, but the red flags now that you run towards have to come from within. And I think the way that the next 4 weeks is shaping up to be, your mind will be throwing up red flags. You will be receiving opportunities to fly headfirst into parts of the past where you begin to understand why perhaps you weren't ready for this energy before now, or why perhaps you haven't quite been able to figure this energy out up until now. But the opening of new doors for Taurus is not easy. And I know this because, as I mentioned in the Aries video, every sign is a reaction to the sign before it. So the opposite is also true, right? So if a sign is a specific way, then you can pretty much, safely bet that the sign before it is quite opposite to that, right? So, for example, Gemini are the doorway and build doorways in the mind and walk through them and walk through them and walk through them and pull the rest of the zodiac, with them into these new understandings. And they do it very, very quickly. So the opposite of that is on both sides. You have it in Taurus and you have it in Cancer. The opposite being the doors are approached slowly. They are walked through slowly. They are walked through rarely, right? When a new door, a new way of thinking, what will lead to a new life opens up for Taurus, slow and steady is definitely the approach, but slow and steady can turn into not moving at all if you let your temper get to you, if you hold grudges, if you lie, if you fight and are combative for no reason, these things will hold back your progress because you're adding karmic weight to a scale right now that you shouldn't want to imbalance. Right now, the way things are set up, the balance is really good for you. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the good and the bad, or the light and the dark, or whatever way you want to name that duality, is balanced out for you right now, is pretty perfect. And it will allow for some pretty perfect and really, really beneficial energies to come in, really satisfying energies to come in. What we don't want to do is upset that karmic balance, right? It just makes sense. We want to enhance it. We want to get even more and more attuned to it so we can gain more and more from it, sure. But we don't want to upset the balance the other way and start losing out on this stuff. And so the way not to do that, and I think the cards are being pretty specific here, the way to keep your vibe where you want it. Don't lie to others and don't lie to yourself. And don't be combative and be looking for the upper hand right now. You don't need to be doing that. You already have the upper hand. You have several upper hands. And you have some really solid, stable love energies that are serious and committed. This is the energy that's coming in, but it is, as you can see from looking at the cards, it is a precursor to what these are a precursor to what comes later. First, you have to understand and get through. You see, we'll look at the cards on a table surface in the extended. First, you have to find your power through the past. Find your power through processing. Find your power by going back there, but don't dive too deep and don't stay too long. Understand and take what you need to from it and move forward. And how do you do that? Well, this month the planets help you do it. You don't really need to know how to do it. Just let yourself go with the flow. Just be easy. Be easy with yourself and be easy with the people around you. And very quickly, you will start to see just really, really friendly, I was going to say fertile energy just around you. Family-oriented, fun-oriented, celebration-oriented, money-oriented. Just fun times. Weddings to go to. All that stuff. It's all fractal. It's all mirroring the stuff that's going to be going on in your life. So celebrate. Be excited. Be happy. Be happy because you know it's coming and you can feel it. And then 3 more cards. And these really looking like a step-by-step guide in how to get what you want, which is be careful with your flaws and with your ego. And because this is coming to you and we don't want you to mess it up. Right? So I feel like it was supposed to be a 9-card reading, so let's shuffle for one more. Let's shuffle for an outcome card. And I think diving into the subconscious is so difficult and it takes a while for you guys to get in that water. And it was just really hard to connect. I think it's scary for you guys and I totally get it. Absolutely, I do. Taurus is my house of the subconscious, so I get it. And the way things have been moving through Aries, you have just had so much pressure on your on the emotional part of your brain, you know. You're kind of fatigued by the Five of Cups and the Four of Cups process, but at least the cups are lessening. When it's at that 5-4 juncture, you want them to lessen. All right. The Hermit. And the bottom of the deck is the Empress. And then underneath that is the Ten of Swords. And underneath that is the Eight of Cups. But that we'll look at in the extended. The outcome card is the Hermit. So the obvious thing would be that if you have a Virgo in your life, they are in no way done with you and are very much still wanting to be a part of this very stable sort of energy. And we know that the Virgos are coming around to that and really would like that in their lives right now. So it's not a surprise. And also, as always, the major arcana being your guidance and your road signs of which way to go. And in this case, I think that if we're talking about a lot of activity in your 12th house of the subconscious, and this is the sign that delves into that part of us with a light and shows us and is smart enough to be there, then this is the energy that we should definitely adopt for your Mercury retrograde through your 12th house month, you know, season, whatever you want to call it. I think this is the energy you have to adopt. And what does this mean? Does this mean you have to be reclusive? No, not necessarily. Virgos aren't necessarily reclusive. They're a bit shy, but they go out, they have fun, they do things, but they are very aware and very thoughtful, and they try to think about things dispassionately. A lot of times what can happen with Taurus is that your reactive, sort of passionate nature can get the better of your thought process. And then once you've replaced, you know, the cerebral approach and you've replaced it with a passionate approach, you lose the insight that a character like this has who can be completely dispassionate. What happens when you have the Hermit energy is that you are able to, regardless of what your personal feelings are, you're able to put them aside and go into a purely esoteric, sort of intellectual, cerebral space where you can really theorize and think about things without attaching them to some sort of personal experience or hurt or what have you, all of that stuff. Now the crow is sitting on the tree. First it was sitting on the pole, now the crow is sitting on the tree right outside my window. It's very cool. So I think that it is essential now to be more discerning, because what it looks like, and like I said, we'll talk about it in the extended, what it looks like is that the female aspect of the Taurus right now is experiencing a whole other level of hurt that has a lot to do with this energy. And connecting with the Hermit energy when you're that hurt can be really hard, especially for a Taurus that is reactive. It's very difficult. I think that there are moments this month now where you can really learn a lot about yourself, and you can project out there exactly the sort of relationship energy you would like to have. But it's so important to be still and not let your emotions run the show, and be asking and manifesting and praying and ordering from the hologram very specific things that you would like. And you're doing that by being quiet and still and meditative and discerning and not reactive and not upset and not feeling like you got to get back on top and not like people are lying to you and any of that stuff. Leaving that energy behind, pulling yourself out of the contemplative space of the past, realizing that you have extreme abundance within self, and beginning to mirror that out. Yeah, good. It's never easy, but it's that cleaning that everybody needs. This hasn't happened for you guys in a long time, the way these placements are. And when you haven't cleaned something out for 12 years, yeah, it could be a little musty. Sure, it may not be the most pleasant experience, but what's sitting on the other side of it, and the cards are being so kind, they want to encourage you so much. What's sitting on the other side of it is really worth the trouble and perhaps the grime and the gunk of it all. It's worth it. But if you let the grime and the gunk of it all get to you and you start being grimy and gunky, you'll just miss out on so much. Instead, hold back, pull back, and just observe and learn and watch the Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles energy come to you. Watch yourself be magnetic because you are sitting there completely aware of the gold in your lap. Yeah? So it is the sign that is tangling with their subconscious that gets the black and white video once a month because your subconscious doesn't see colors. It, the colors are painted into your dreams after you're awake. Your dreams are in black and white. So there is that. Tomorrow night is the satsang in Oakland, and there's another one on March 9th. And I think both of those are sold out. I'm going to do a date in LA on the 13th. I'm still figuring out where, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. We have an all-day tarot seminar in New York on April 8th. I'll link that as well. And the extendeds have all been moved because YouTube no longer does paid content. That's why we couldn't access the videos. So you can go to my site, the website is below, and just click extended readings. It's right there in the center of the page. And it'll take you to an entire page where you can buy all the videos if you want, or buy one, and you just watch them instantly. There's no waiting for anything. It has nothing to do with like someone having to send you something. It's all right there. So there's that. And there's a link on my website as well to pre-order the book. And a lot of people have been talking about Melbourne and London. So if you have a venue in Melbourne or in London and you would like to host an event and your place is anywhere between, I don't know, 50 and 100 people, or maybe we want to do 30 to 50 people, please, I'll leave my email below. Please email me and we can try to figure it out. And yeah, that's about it. It's going to be the kind of month that's going to pull you under, and it's going to be your job to rise above it without turning into the Hulk. Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low. Okay? I love you. I'll see you in April.